So let's just look at the pistol round to begin with, and let's see how the strat is for fnatic and how KRIMZ fits into it and what his job is. It's pretty simple overall, but pistol rounds are always nice to see and always very easy to replicate too. And it seems like they're going for a safe 2-1-2 setup with defensive posturing on A in KRIMZ and Olaf to allow for a strong retake, but also to emphasize on some opening kills maybe before they get potentially smoked off. There's a kit on grenade on KRIMZ and full nades for his mate Olaf, so that's gonna really help them to delay safely, at least that's the plan, and also hopefully get a lot of damage in to buy time for the teammates to go for the retake from middle and from B. So simple stuff, but effective. And you can see this time around they got quite a nice ult. In this round, it's all about dealing with the CZ buy from Dignitas. Having got the bomb down the round previous, fnatic know they don't necessarily have to worry about any armor. The approach for fnatic here is to have passive positions on the bomb site with focus on mid and underpass control. The reason for this choice is that underpass and mid is strong for the long range engagements that they want against the CZs, and it also gives them plenty of information. It's quite likely too that if Dignitas want to go through mid at all, they will choose underpass, as they won't have smokes to help them across the quicker route. KRIMZ fits into the picture by just providing support from connector, able to crossfire with flasher or support JW directly and be ready to help Olafmeister on A. Now we have the third round buy. Dignitas have decided to go for an A set play, and we see the same strategy from fnatic. They want to play defensive on site and focus on mid control. That way they can bring an advantage through winning aim duels and information, and if the teams don't go mid, they are more than content to play for the retakes. KRIMZ once again is just in a support role within this strategy, and we see that he gets locked down by smokes here, and the plan is just to see what damage can be done safely from behind the smokes whilst the entire team gets in position, including the flanking Pronax, who will cue the team to move in as soon as he gets to T slope. And from here on out it's just easy pickings, it seems, as fnatic just crush into the site together in a coordinated manner. fnatic decide to mix it up in this round by playing a more passive strategy with a 3A 2B setup. This allows KRIMZ to focus more on connector and worry less about Palace than before. The lack of presence on mid does create a lot of danger that KRIMZ must respect, as he cannot know what's there. He's aiming down the ramp instead of on short because it's more likely, with no smoke in middle to provide cover, that someone will peek from there, as it is less exposed from the T's perspective. Ultimately though, we can also see how tentative he is, as it's very costly to give up this position through risky play unless it's justified. Upon the T smoke to connector however, KRIMZ decides to take a risk and play aggressively by using counter grenades to retake connector immediately. It's an incredibly strong position for the T's to hold, as they can either make a stronger A play from having it, or in the case of this round, slow rotation to B considerably and create a constant threat of a flank. Thus KRIMZ realizes the gamble is more than worth it to decrease Dignitas' chances to win the round. In this round, we see how KRIMZ helps to create a distraction on mid, allowing Pronax to push up undetected until it's too late. This pressure and crossfire setup that's created between KRIMZ and flusher on short, and the cover KRIMZ can provide for Pronax on underpass, make him very key in tying the mid pressure together. Considering Olafmeister is playing very defensively in A, and is able to see both Palace and T slope, this allows KRIMZ the freedom to keep his attention on mid early in the round, whilst they use this mid pressure strategy to establish some early information and control, which proactively increases their chances to win the round. Here we'll see fnatic put to an early 4 versus 4 situation, which typically can get quite ugly for the CTs, as they have to adjust their setup almost immediately. An interesting point about this situation usually is that it can be safest for the CTs to split 2 to a site. However, because the connector guy is so fast to the B rotation due to quick access to short, this actually creates a strong argument to almost gamble and keep 3 players towards A, as it also helps you keep an eye on middle more effectively. And we can see KRIMZ doing just this, trying to find any information he can, as information is the most important thing for fnatic to gain an edge in this position, as it could allow them a quicker response time when the push finally arrives, wherever that may be. And as we're going to see in this case, it is going to come in onto the A bomb site. And KRIMZ just has to hold his ground and wait for his teammates to arrive so they can have that systematic, methodical, coordinated strike back into the bomb site for the retake. You know, fundamental Counter-Strike at play. So a similar setup from fnatic once again in this round, although they now have Pronax helping out towards jungle instead of any kind of mid pressures, but it's still the same defensive posture. They're not putting anyone forward close to slope or in the shadow area, and they haven't done that at all the entire match, so that's kind of a bit of a wild card, something that they can throw in at any point now, and it should generally be a bit of a surprise. And we're going to see KRIMZ finally decide to go for one of those forward positions. He's going to jump into the sandwich area in a moment, and this position is generally quite a good one if you want to commit yourself to fight to the death. But you know, you kind of need your teammates to support you well with grenades, and you can only really do this if you're 3 on the site. If you're 2 on the site, your ability to trade frags back and generally do damage is actually much worse. So it's almost always going to be better to hold back and wait for reinforcements for a properly coordinated retake, because this site's so open and it really lends well to those retake approaches. Either way, that's the end of this episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to support me, and I'll continue doing as much as I can. Thank you, and see you next time.